how the broadcast gets from the studio to your home. We want to make this wave stronger, so we amplify it.
Guys, what's going on? Hello and welcome to Cereal at Midnight. I am Heath and this is Fresh Flavors, our look at the latest new releases. It's not a review video, it's a new release highlights video, so you know what's coming out. Reviews always show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. This is a smaller stack than I was expecting it to be because behind the scenes, I'll tell you, I've been doing more focused videos on things as they come in. So, Umbrella gets its own video, Imprint gets its own video, Kino Lorber always gets its own video. By the way, I do have A Fistful of Dollars and for a few dollars more on 4K. I've watched them. I got things to say. But that video is coming soon. I want to watch as many of those releases as I can before I come to you in a video about them. Because I have them, frankly, I have them almost a month early, so I have the opportunity to do that. But that's coming soon. We've got some Arrow here. We've got a lot of different stuff. Indicator Fans, raise your hands. I can't see it, but I assume a lot of people raise their hands. There's a contest announcement in this video. Is it a contest announcement? I'll tell you what the contest is, what you can win, and how you can win it. How about that? Remember, reviews always show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. You can also check out our Patreon campaign over on CerealAtMidnite.com. That'll take you right over there. But this is my full-time job. I made the leap in 2021. This is what I do for a living now. And it's a nail-biting time. It's a scary time because I'm leaping without a net. The only income generated with this channel is the ad revenue that you see, the ads before these videos, which is like, it's legit. It's like 10 cents per 1,000 views. So, boop, it's really small. And the money that is generated through Patreon. And in return for Patreon support, I've got over 100 videos, collection tours, audio commentaries. I've posted some of the audio commentaries here on the channel. If you want to get a sampling of that, you can see Home Alone, you can see Die Hard, you can see The Rocketeer, Batman, 1989's Batman. There's commentaries for all that right here, but there's more at CerealAtMidnite.com. My favorite movie, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves from 1991, audio commentary for that, and other things. There's a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles commentary over there that I'm really proud of. So all that is there as a thank you. You're not just, supporting blindly. You get a lot, probably more than you can, years worth. It's like 3 years worth of content that you will be getting and unlocking with your support. So CerealAtMidnite.com. Guys, let's launch into it. Let's kick it off with new 4K Ultra HD 4K releases from Arrow Video. Let's start with Shelley's Frankenstein. What a great movie. I had forgotten how good this movie was. When it came out, I didn't love it, and I don't know why. I think maybe it was just too serious for me at the time, because I'm old enough to have seen this like when it was in the theaters and stuff. I think that it was just too serious of a take for me. Universal was really trying. Was this Universal? The monster movies, it's TriStar. They were doing this very serious thing, right? We had Wolf with Jack Nicholson. We had Bram Stoker's Dracula. Francis Ford Coppola, right? We have this one, and it was very modern, serious, dramatic takes on these classic monster stories. Of course, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. These are very novelistic in their approach. They're going back to the source material. I dig it. I think it works. And revisiting it, it's on it like it's really dramatic. And Robert De Niro was at the time, I was like, De Niro as the monster? What? He's like, you're talking to me. Listen, let me tell you something. You've been making me out of bodies. I don't like it. You gotta treat me right. I'm gonna take you down. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to be one step behind you every step of the way. You're going down. I like it now. And some of the places De Niro has gone since then, like Rocky and Bullwinkle and things like that. I'm like, no, that was like pretty good De Niro. And Kenneth Branagh's great. He's great in this movie, and he directed it too, right? So he's starring and he's directing it, which is a challenge. So it's a challenge. But I tell you what, man, the dude has. Here's my note on Kenneth Branagh: great head of hair. Great head of hair. In fact, in this booklet, there is I think there's a picture of his gorgeous, his lustrous locks. The older I get, the more I appreciate that thick head of hair. I'm probably older now than he was in this, so that's why. This was 30 years ago. Whoa, that hit me. This is 30 years ago. How does this movie look on 4K? It looks fantastic. It's a dark movie. It's a drab movie with a lot of blacks and golds and things like that, but it does look really good. I don't want to spoil every future 4K review, but I've yet to watch a 4K master that is taken from a 35mm source, in some cases even a 16mm source, that isn't a huge leap ahead from the Blu-ray. I know a lot of people say it's not that big of an upgrade over the Blu-ray. I don't know what these people's setup is. For me, a 35mm source 4K transfer always, you know what it does to a Blu-ray? That's what it does. It says, sit down, son. Sit down. And this does that as well. The tones, the flesh tones, the flames, so much like torchlight and stuff. Good Lord, it looks good. That fine grain. And it's not necessarily a visual feast. It's not that kind of a movie, but it still looks really good. They gave it the HDR pass. And I don't think HDR is always necessary. I know that's a hot take. When you get into some of these older movies, the Universal monster movies from the 30s and 40s, did those need HDR? They're black and white. I've watched them. It made the blacks a little deeper. I guess it's nice, but I think that there are some people who are like, HDR for everything. HDR is expensive, and if it's not that noticeable, it doesn't always add as much as people might think that it does. So anyway, that's my take on that. So there's a ton of special features here. Flip that around and you can check them all out for yourself. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but it's got commentaries, new interviews, and the biggest thing here, remember, reviews for all this stuff. This is not a review video. This is not the only time I'll be talking about this in history. Show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. A ton of people go like, Heath, here's what happens, and it's kind of frustrating because people watch an unboxing video or they watch a video like this, and then YouTube, the algorithm on YouTube suggests another one like that, and then another one like that. And then every time they log into YouTube, it's suggesting another fresh flavors or an unboxing or something like that. And you get all this stuff, but you don't have anything to say about it. And I'm like, are you aware of the hundreds of reviews at CerealAtMidnite.com? And they're not, because they're only being served the same thing. You got to subscribe, Jack. You got to ring that bell. And once you do that, then you'll know all the stuff that's coming out. When I post reviews, you guys know about it. The subscribers know about it. So do yourself a favor so that you never miss out on new content. But reviews for this will show up at my multiple reviews for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein will show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. But the coolest thing here is it has, I'm going to read it so I get it right, Frankenstein, a liberal adaptation from Mrs. Shelley's famous story for Edison production, 1910. It's the first screen adaptation of Shelley's story in a 2K restoration by the Library of Congress. That is amazing for a cinephile like me to get the first adaptation. You go back to 1910, now it's not like, it's not like 1776 or something like that, but it is, because film, right? Film in 1910, it exists. But you go back then, that is so much closer to the original source material. That is cool. So I haven't watched that yet. That's still in my future, so I'm really excited about that. But I know that there's a lot of cinephiles that are going to be really excited about that. 12 Monkeys. We got to talk about 12 Monkeys. So great movie. It's a challenging movie. Terry Gilliam always challenges me. I want to love some of these things more than I do. Sometimes it takes me a long time to warm up to them. 12 Monkeys is a movie that has taken me a long time, decades, to warm up to. Saw it, liked it. But I was like, his movies are uncomfortable. That's what it comes down to, is they're not always fun watches. They're challenging. They're cerebral. He doesn't care if you're with him or not. He just wants to tell his story. And now, as an adult, of course, I admire that. But challenging movie. Brad Pitt's great here. We got got reversible art wrap here. Let's talk about the physical aspect of this, and we'll talk about the movie itself. Some of this stuff I just don't have that much to say. I've had a few requests lately for the return of Review Palooza. Some of this stuff, I like 12 Monkeys. I'm really gonna have to think about what I have to say, and when I do get around to reviewing that, it's going to need to be written so I can really process what I need to say. But I love, I'm really loving Brad Pitt, 90s Brad Pitt. I didn't appreciate him at the time, but now I do. What he was doing before he became that superstar. Fight Club Brad Pitt, True Romance Brad Pitt, this Brad Pitt, great stuff. And this does have a booklet, as the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein did. Did these get a limited edition? I'm not sure. I think this is as good as it gets. This is my reaction to this. Quick note on that. I want to talk about limited editions really quick. In the light of the Why Do We Collect video, I think most people understand this. I love limited editions. I have a ton of limited editions. I will seek them out when I can. There's a limited edition here we're going to talk about. My only comment on that in that episode of Why Do We Collect is that when the pursuit of limited editions or the fear of value, either the fear of something losing value or the fear of missing out on value, and by value I mean profit, right, overtakes the love of the movie itself. So if I reference it again because it's right here. This was my favorite release of 2021. The Cold War Creatures box set from Arrow. I love this box set. This is the limited edition. There's a standard version. I'm super glad that I bought the limited edition version because it's got all the stuff. I love these movies. It's got the postcards. It's got the book, 2 books actually. But at the end of the day, if I had missed that, it's okay. It's okay. Like, the movie is the most important thing. And that's all I was trying to say in that episode, is that there's so many people who are like talking about the value, wanting to resell, stuff like that. But what about the love of the movies? What about the films, man? So that's where that came from. So 12 Monkeys, now on 4K. Great movie. Great special features. I'll show you all the special features that are included here. But there's controversy. Of course, there's controversy because there's an error here. It's there. The error is there. I can vouch for it. I saw it with my own eyes. About a third of the way into the movie, there's a scene where Bruce Willis is in a chair and there's 2 science people talking to him, and there are 2 shots from that are repeated. And it's not as bad as the people on the forums and Reddit are making it out to be. Those people always just love the outrage. They love to say, like, pitchforks and torches is what it is all the time. Let's dial that back about 60%. It's an error. People that there's going to be probably thousands of people that buy this and they don't notice it. Especially people that are watching movies while they're on their phone, which I think is more people than want to admit. If you're watching on your phone and you're looking up every now and then and you're just listening, you're never going to notice it. It's like 12 seconds of shots that repeat. A lady goes, she rolls her eyes, and another guy just looks like this. And you see that twice. The audio does not skip. It does not repeat. So if you're not looking for it, you very easily could miss it. But I'm not trying to say it's not a big deal, because it is, and it needs to be addressed. From what I gather, this is baked into the Universal Master. This is not something that was just done yesterday. This goes back to the original restoration. But again, nobody has made any comment. So all I can do is say, I watched the disc. I saw it. I don't love it, but it's also like, dial it down a little bit, guys. Let's put the pitchforks down. If you're considering buying it, I say go ahead and do it. Like, if you want this, go ahead and buy it, because I don't know that there's going to be anything better coming along. I don't know that there's a replacement coming along, but it is an error and it does need to be addressed. That's my stance, right? So that's where I'm at with that. Let's give away something, or let's talk about how to give something away. I was sent 2 copies of this new Aha documentary, Aha the Movie. This one is going to one of you guys. And in addition to that, this full-size poster with this art is going to one of you guys as well. It'll be the same person. I'm going to do it as a bundle. It fell over. It's a great movie. I'll just wrap up the contest. So The last time we gave something away, we did it on Twitter. I think it's time to do an Instagram contest. And so I know a lot of people are boycotting Twitter right now, so maybe it's time to do another Instagram contest. But you know why we can't give away things on YouTube, because I tell you guys about them, and then I have no way to get in touch with anybody. And I'll even do a video. Like the winner is Buck Regato from, what a weird name, Buck Regato. Little old world, little new world. And then I'll be like, contact me, and then I never hear, because people don't come back. They enter and then they forget. So keep your eyes peeled to the Instagram, CerealAtMidnite Instagram. But man, this movie's great. I didn't know a lot about Aha. I know Take On Me, as I think everybody in the speaking world, the speaking world, everybody knows that song. And I knew the song from the Bond movie. But that's it. And I was like, I wonder why that is. And then I found out the documentary. For when it came time for their second album, 86, I think it was, the studio wanted them to release such and such song as a single, and they were like, no, we want to release this as a single. So they lost the studio, they lost promotion in America, and it was like America was like, all right, well, you're on your own now. And they lost America. And so they're still super big in Europe and in other places, but America hasn't heard of them since. Now, I know some people probably have. I'm sure some people are importing things, but no MTV play, no new singles on the radio in, 35 years. So it's interesting. But they are still hard at work, and it really paints an accurate portrait of the band in terms of like 3 complete personalities that they love each other, but they don't often get along. You got the egos. Everybody has their own ego. You've got the introverted guy. You've got the showman. You've got the artist, the tortured artist. And they can come together sometimes to make music, and then other times they simply can't. And it's interesting how these dynamics, it's like when you watch, the Beatles. I always go back to the Beatles because that's like my favorite ever. But when you see Paul McCartney and John Lennon and these guys fail to recognize that George Harrison has become their peer. And they're still like, well, George, why don't you just play, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. And he's like, I'll play whatever you want me to play, or I won't play anything at all. Just tell me whatever it is that'll please you, I'll do it. And you're like, oh man, they still think that he's like little George, but he's not little George. He's like, he's the coolest dude. He's like my sweet Lord George. So you see a lot of that in bands. Like it's been, this was made, I guess, a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic. And those dynamics from the 80s and the late 70s are still in play. But it's great. It's a great documentary. It is in Norwegian. I should let people know. They are a Norwegian band, and it is in Norwegian with English subtitles. Didn't bother me. Didn't bother me. It's got 3 deleted scenes, and it's just fun. I love music, and I love music as much as I love movies, and as much as I love comics. Those are my things. I love stories, and I love music, and it's great. So we'll give one away on Instagram. Keep your eyes peeled. Also music, which I haven't even had a chance to open this yet, but Megadeth. This is a concert, a night in Buenos Aires. It's got Hangar 18. It's the one it's probably my favorite Megadeth, Hangar 18. And I should be fairly upfront. I'm not a Megadeth expert. I know some of their stuff. But anyway, this is a 2022 release from MVD. It was recorded in Argentina in 2005. So here is the track listing of this Megadeth concert. What are your favorite Megadeth songs? And, I know Peace Sells. That's a good one. Symphony of Destruction. I guess I knew more than I thought I did. All right. So, were there any special features? I don't think. No. We got some Seagal in the house. Steven Seagal, A Dangerous Man. They started this. He'll finish it. I just think of that Mad TV sketch with Steven Seagal. You guys know what I'm talking about? Action legend Steven Seagal stars as Shane Daniels, the next special. I'm not trying to make light of it. I realize my tone could be misconstrued as irony. What year is this? I'm trying to figure out, because there's a ton. I was with Steven Seagal until 2000. It's probably up until the DMX era, and then we diverged, and I don't know a lot of this stuff. Looks like a 2009 production. behind the scenes featurette that includes cast interviews. So if you're a Seagalaholic, be aware that that is on Blu-ray now, as is Xpiation. Or as I want to say it like Doug Heffernan, Xpiation. So another one I haven't even had a chance to unwrap yet, but I wanted to let you know about. Wanted to let the horror hounds know about it. It's a 2022 movie. In a large, isolated cellar, a mysterious aristocratic woman begins torturing a man while videotaping it. The torture escalates. We find out that the secrets the man holds inside of him, pleasure, pain, all are one on the menu as we find out the full meaning of the trilogy of death. We've got bloopers, an interview with the director, stills gallery, and trailers. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? It's from Unearthed Films. I know there's a huge cult following for Unearthed Films. So let me know. Again, not a review video. If I've seen it, I can review. Like there's some like this Girl on a Chain Gang. I saw it. And there's actually a review at CerealAtMidnite.com right now. So you can head over there and check that out. I will say this is a super interesting movie from the film detective in collaboration with Something Weird, which is awesome. Something Weird, I gather, had the source materials for this. Like it was their film. They owned the actual elements, and they partnered with the film detective to, one, restore it, and two, to lavish it with praise and special features. The movie itself is really interesting. It deals with it reminds me of Night of the Living Dead, honestly. Not in terms of like legacy or staying power or anything like that, but it has a real it's of race. It's about these three people that are traveling in the South, and they get picked up by a sheriff. It's very motivated by history, honestly, and it goes to some really interesting places, and I like it a lot. Girl on a Chain Gang: Race, Rednecks, and Civil Rights. That's an original essay by Lisa Petrucci from Something Weird Video. That's the owner of Something Weird Video. Full-length audio commentary with Jennifer Churchill, the author of Movies Are Magic, and it's all in the title, Exploiting Jerry Gross. That's a short history of the semi-legendary producer with author film historian Chris Poggiali, and it has a booklet here, and I thought this was cool. It's like a certificate. I don't know if this is... There's no reference to it in the commentary or anywhere else, but I'm like, is this a miniaturized version of something that was given away at the original screening in the 60s? I don't know. Doctor Strange from Shout Factory or Screen Factory? Shout Factory. This is from... This is interesting to me because it's one of those 1,500 limited editions. When they announced it, I don't like to support those for reasons I talked about in the Why Do We Collect video. And then they announced that it was selling so well that they were going to do 500 more. And that's what I bought it when they did that. Because I was like, great. Anything that gets it in the hands of more people, I want to support. I say we vote with our dollars. I'm super excited about this. This is a 70s TV movie. Fully done with the licensing and cooperation of Marvel, Stanley. I think Ditko even gets a credit here because he co-created Doctor Strange, Steve Ditko. New high-definition transfer, new audio commentary by pop culture historian Russell Dyball, and the panel jumper host, Cole Hornaday. Basically, if you've seen the movie, you know. It's 70s Marvel, TV Marvel, you know. Kind of on par with The Incredible Hulk, and there's a whole history of 70s TV Marvel projects. I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad that this got the Blu-ray treatment. If you missed out, let me say this. Try to pop that off. I like the attention to detail here. If you missed out on this, the DVD's still in print, and the DVD is not limited. So, and I think it's going for cheap. Now, I say that, maybe it's out of print too. I remember seeing that there was a DVD. Anyway, I don't like things going out of print. That's what it comes down to. I think things should be kept in print as long as possible. I know sometimes it's out of people's control. There are licensing issues, clearance issues. I'm glad this exists. I'm glad they made 2,000 instead of 1,500. I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see when things get close to selling out, I'd like to see them say, hey, here's 500 more. You guys have fun. And they limited, once they went to 500 more, I think they limited it to 1 copy each instead of 5 copies each. If you let somebody buy 5, where do you think 4 of those are going? eBay. The Whistle at Eaton Falls from Flickr Yeah, Flickr. It's Flickr Alley's Flickr Fusion label. I talked about this on. I was a guest on the Films at Home podcast, Jeff's podcast. I'm on episode number 2. I talk a little bit about this. Tremendous movie. It's being rediscovered because it was lost for decades, and it has been given a full restoration. It's 1951. It's got Lloyd Bridges in it. Review right now at CerealAtMidnite.com. Go check out the review for Girl on a Chain Gang. Go check out the review for The Whistle at Eaton Falls. I can say way more about it in that review than I can here, especially since, as you can tell, I'm starting to exhaust. I'm winding down. I'm getting winded. It's a great movie about, I mean, it's like ripped from the headlines today. It's about the shrinking opportunities in the work field, the workforce, about striking, about, labor issues, the economy, outsourcing, all the stuff that's in the headlines. It's in this movie from 1951. The presentation is great. It's got a wonderful documentary here. The before and after the restoration as well. Isolated soundtrack. More stuff here. Booklet. The best thing here, in my opinion, is the audio commentary by Alan K. Rhodey, who always really shows up and does great work. He's such a scholar and historian. I admire him so much, and it's great commentary. All right, let's get raunchy now. We're going to talk about Stanley Long's Adventures. A 70s sex comedy threesome. So this is from Powerhouse Indicator. A lot of Indicator fans out there. I'm really excited to be talking about this because guess what? This is an A and B and C region release. This is, here, I have to be careful. The back of this wrap has a gentleman's bottom on it. And I know YouTube's not going to be okay with that. So I'll take that off and I'll flip the, well, first of all, I guess if you're easily offended, skip ahead for 5 to 7 minutes. But this is everything that's included. All these special features. If you want to pause that, but you see region A, B, and C. So it's region free. And this is being sold right now through American Amazon, through Amazon US for $35, which is a great deal for an imported Indicator box set. I love Indicator. I'm looking right now. I got Sinbad, the 2 Harryhausen box sets, 5 Tall Tales, my Randolph Scott, Bud Bedecker stuff, Sam Fuller at Columbia. Love Indicator. This joins that. Limited to 6,000. I assume when the limited edition is sold out, they'll just sell the 3 movies by themselves. All the on-disc features won't change. There's a ton of on-disc features. Let me jump into that really quick. We're talking about Adventures of a Taxi Driver from 1976, Adventures of a Private Eye from 1977, and Adventures of a Plumber's Mate from 1978. There's a 3-part, what do they call it? The BEHP interview with Stanley Long. 3 parts from 1999. Part 1 is 87 minutes. Part 2 is 92 minutes. And Part 3 is 89 minutes. So, holy cow, you guys. 4.5 hours of interviews with Stanley Long. There's also, they talk to the cinematographer, which is Peter Sinclair's Camera. 2022, new interview where they talk to the cinematographer. These things, fascinating stuff. He goes on to do a bunch of music videos with like the biggest, like Madonna and stuff like that. What are these movies? These movies are not adult movies. They're not, now they are rated X. Like, don't watch them with your kids, obviously. Don't do that. Guys, don't do that. But I would say that there's nothing, first of all, they're super, super, super silly. They're not serious, they're comedies, and it's like real British slapstick kind of comedy. Like John Pertwee, the 3rd Doctor, Doctor Who, number 3. There's a scene where he's in the second one and he's getting a massage. He's got his shirt off, and I guess his pants are off too. And there's a fan, an oscillating fan. It's like a room fan. And it tips over and falls in his lap. So he's just like, oh, like it's that, like, oh, he went cross-eyed and he made the groin pain noise. Super silly. Like, oh no, I was having this rendezvous with this lady and the husband walked in and I got to climb out of the door without my pants on. So lots of naked men here. It's very British. There's a guy with like the mustache, those mustaches, like you see him a lot in Monty Python. It's just like, oh, so you've come to see the lady now, have you? Well, the lady's busy, If you're going to go in there and spend a little time with her, you're going to have to get past me first. It's really, really silly stuff. With boobs. That's what it comes down to. So, these movies made a ton of money in the UK. I think this one was the 18th highest grossing movie of that year in the UK, which is crazy. But people love these. So they're for sure like bottom shelf entertainment. But what's crazy to me is that they're getting such a top shelf presentation from Indicator, because Indicator is a UK company and the British public loves this stuff. So see if I can show you this book that comes with these three. There's a bottom here. Flip that around. Well, you know what? It would probably be best. Oh, here's a picture of Stanley Long. Hey, Diana Dors. Late period Diana Dors. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Stanley Long. So let me show you the picture of the table of contents. That'd probably be the safest because there is some skin in this book. But it's 80 pages and it is very well done. And it comes with this double-sided poster as well, which again, for what it is, it's just really appealing. I go back to the limited edition conversation we were having earlier in this episode. Like, I do love limited editions. But if you miss out on this, it'll be okay. You know, the movies will probably remain in print. Do you guys, like, what would, if just in case someone from Indicator is watching this, what would be the next thing? Would you like to see the Confessions movies? It'd be really cool. Anyway, what does it say? He gets more than his fair share. Okay. Now there's a bunch of stuff that showed up from Film Movement and Corinth Films, indie stuff that I don't know. Honestly, I don't know much about. I didn't request this. It kind of like if you saw my video review for Straight to VHS. Same batch as this. Things come to me that I didn't ask for, that I don't know what they are, and so I explore them. Sometimes I review them, but as it stands right now, most of this stuff is still sealed, and we'll figure it out together. Presagio, review copy, not for sale. But some of the stuff will hit disc and streaming at the same time. So this is a Cinema Zombie Fest entry, official selection of the Morbido Film Fest. It's an Argentinian movie from 2015. Here, rather than read the back of it to you, I'm just going to flip that over, and you can pause that and read that yourself. But if you are into Argentinian zombie movies, then take notes. And I bet it's going to be really cool. But director's statement: this film is both a thriller and an experimental horror film. It's shot in two different formats to mark a visual contrast between the present and the memories of the protagonist. That's cool. So, Film Movement and this is the indie picks. This stuff always is done with such care and such, I don't know. It's always a discovery for me. And they're things that, honestly, like, they fly under the radar a lot of the times. But when you can discover something that's really cool, like I did with Straight to VHS, it's pretty radical, man. Ang Lee, Pushing Hands. Never seen it. This is out on Blu-ray from Film Movement Classics. This is a 1991 Ang Lee movie. It looks good. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. And as you can see, I haven't even opened this yet. So there's what's included. If you're an Ang Lee fan and you prefer his original Asian cinema to his Hollywood work, take note. There's a lot of special features on this too. Roundtable discussion, 16-page booklet with a new essay by the NYU Cinematic Studies professor, Xin Zhang. Lovecut. This is interesting. This is a German with English subtitles, Switzerland and Austria. Looks like it's a 2022 film. 16s in Vienna, 6 Tales of Awakening Desire in the Digital Age. So that was a Film Fest Max Ophuls Priest Best Screenplay winner. I believe it was the winner. I don't know. It just says Best Screenplay there. So you guys tell me. I'm interested. Playground. This is about. Where is this from? This is Belgium, and it is 2022. It's a critics pick of the New York Times, a NewYorkTimes.com critics pick. A knockout, flawlessly constructed. It's high praise. The LA Times said it's a must-see drama about school bullying And Screen Daily said it's a gut punch of a film. It comes with a bonus short. Foreign Bodies. I'll let you. Cinema is alive and well on, we don't get so much of this in theaters these days, but it's nice to know that it's still making its way to the audience. All right, another one. Why Is We Americans? A film by Udi Aloni and Ayana Morris. It is about the Baraka family. Documentary. An important record of living history that refuses to mythologize itself, says the LA Times. I don't even know what to say to this. It looks very intense, powerful. I'll have to check it out. Special features: New York City theatrical premiere, Q&A video with the filmmakers, LA theatrical premiere, post-theatrical discussion with someone involved. Some of these names, you guys, I'm sorry. Danny Glover deleted scene, theatrical trailer. All right, so we have so many people that watch these videos that are in the industry, and some people have actually seen these at festivals and things like that. So I'm seeking advice. Where should I, what do you think about these movies if you've seen them? Let me know. Guys, that is going to do it for this installment of Fresh Flavors. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'll put links to where you can buy these things in the description of this video, maybe with some time codes too. Remember CerealAtMidnite.com, remember Patreon.com/CerealAtMidnite, and remember to comment to let me know what you think about this stuff, what you're interested in, and we'll be picking up. Continue the conversation. That's the most important part. So guys, thank you. Take care. Till next time, I will catch you later.